Yeah. Hard. Yeah. Militant-minded general, nine-grip, the grip with blades and a pen that can sharpen your spine's tip. Level-headed, though my mind flips from side to side with an acrobat's experience. After I stick it, I'm lyric down a demon-possessed Dahiye. Seems Jay's the best for the job with no code.
What's up, my people? And you're listening now to what was this episode? What, episode 4 maybe? Episode 4, season 2.
I think there's 2, 3.
All right, season 2, episode 4. That's right. All right, season 2, episode 4 of Know the Ropes podcast, KTR. Yeah, you guys listen to a different voice this time. You know why? Because Cinko ain't in this mug. Big Harv and J-Bo, we is taking over this episode on his, well, honestly, our own behalf, because we is grown men and we can do whatever the heck that we want to, even if he's not here.
Yeah.
Now, before we get this show started, we want to go ahead and remind everyone to please make sure you subscribe to us. You can follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram at Know the Ropes Podcast or KTR Podcast. You can also listen to us. You probably listen to us right now on one of our audio networks, but hey, you can find us on Apple Music, on YouTube, on Spotify, on Anchor, KTR Podcast, Know the Ropes Podcast. We is on all of them. All right. Everything. And that's enough of the formalities. We're going to get right into it. The last time we spoke, of course, we talked a lot about the upcoming shows that was coming into town, especially with Raw, SmackDown, everything going live, and Money in the Bank recently took place, and a lot of fallout took place. A lot of rumors, returns, and debuts took place. And actually, most episodes going to cover returns and debuts. So that's the first thing we're going to discuss. But I do want to start off with the rumors. We don't normally do rumors on this show, but there's some big rumors, and there's been some back and forth between Harv and Cinko over text messages, so you got to acknowledge this one first. So one of the biggest rumors that we're hearing right now is that Brian Danielson, and even CM Punk are currently in process of signing with All Elite Wrestling. It's going to be huge. We don't know if it's going to pretty much change the landscape. You know what? Forget that. We're going to discuss that. Harv, I want you to tell me how you feel. Let's say the rumors of CM Punk and Brian Danielson is true. They'll be signing to All Elite Wrestling. Let's just say they're true. What's your thoughts?
CM Punk is more of a game changer than Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is a major get, of course, because the fans love him. Everybody loves him. His charisma, his energy, everything about him is different and it's weird, but it's the right kind of different and weird. So he's always going to be a plus. He's going to be great wherever he goes. Again, just like everybody else that WWE seems to be booting and AEW seems to pick up. It's a better fit. It's a better fit for D. Bry. It's way better than WWE have been in the last few years as far as having people who are important enough for him to face and put on good matches.
Right.
They'll be able to limit his in-ring, actual matches so that he can stretch his career a little bit longer. Same with CM Punk. If they did acquire CM Punk, that is a potential huge game changer. Like, the whole reason he was UFC is because of how popular he was. You know what I mean? He had no credibility, no reason for being in there other than he was hungry. He wanted to try something different. But they signed him because of his popularity the world over. He's been in movies since then. He's written for comic books since then. He's still a pretty huge name. And he's probably the biggest name that's not wrestling right now that people want to see return to wrestling. So if they got him to ink, things might be getting crazy here pretty soon, you know. So I'm hoping for it, of course, because I'm a CM Punk mark. Yeah, man, I'm hyped for it. I hope it happens. I really do. Speaking of Daniel Bryan, I am owed, ladies and gentlemen, a large sum of cash from a certain absent co-host. So I would like y'all to just pelt and bombard him with as much hate mail as possible until I'm paid my due. I appreciate it. What do you think, J-Bo? How do you feel? How do you feel about this?
first off, I'm interested to see how little money arrangement between you and Cinko is going to eventually turn out. So fans, if you want to get involved, please make sure to hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Leave your comments, leave your notes. Let us know what you think. However, as far as CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, my thing is All Elite Wrestling is honestly like a different wrestling landscape than the WWE. How I think about it is, I don't know how far Daniel Bryan will get over in All Elite Wrestling. Obviously, popularity-wise, he'll be just fine. But I think the wrestler and Bryan Danielson will survive stronger and make it over more than All Elite Wrestling. Remember, All Elite Wrestling, they strive off of these long, hard-hitting matches. You know, what Ring of Honor is based off of, what New Japan Pro Wrestling, you know, is kind of, they're trying to get more of that type of base and less of the entertainment, although MJF and Chris Jericho makes up a lot of the entertainment on the show. But wrestling-wise, I see Bryan Danielson more than Daniel Bryan as far as wrestling-wise, making it longer inside the business. CM Punk, though, CM Punk got a lot of pressure on him. Let's just say he does fine. I mean, all eyes will be on him. Fans has been chanting his name both before and after, you know, the current pandemic. They have been chanting his name when he left, when he's been signed to other places, no matter where, almost everywhere in the world, wherever WWE go to, and a lot of wrestling organizations, they always chant CM Punk. So for him to come back, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him to perform. Trust me, I'm excited, but I don't know. He's currently 0-1-1 in UFC, so that didn't turn out well. His comic books obviously came out well. He did do one movie, which I personally didn't like, but that's not the hero there. He's been doing things. He's been acting.
I enjoyed it. It was pretty decent little horror flick, man. It wasn't too bad.
It was slow. It was, I don't know, maybe there's me. It was very slow.
With a slow burn. That's a good flick. That's what you want. But yeah, I feel you. Not for everybody.
It's cool. It's just, there's a lot of pressure on CM Punk. If it's true, I look forward to it, but neither here or there. You know, I look forward to it if it happens. But since we're talking about potential returns of technically debuts, there's actually a very surprising debut that took place in Impact Wrestling. Jay White, New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestler Jay White, made his debut in Impact Wrestling and ironically recruited Chris Bay, which us on the show, we like that recruit. That was actually very unique.
Yeah.
But especially with Impact has been making waves and actually been doing very well. I mean, Impact Wrestling been doing well for a while, but I think especially now with the partnership with AEW, more eyes given to the product. And Jay White, in my opinion, is such a big acquisition. What do you think, Harv, with Jay White's appearance in Impact?
I agree. I think this unholy trinity of AEW, Impact, and New Japan is really doing what it needs to do. They're doing a good job of spreading the talent out, bringing them together when they need to, but giving everybody different opportunities. They're not spread too thin where it's looking like, you know, they're struggling and it's still fresh. They got a lot of fresh matchups they can still do. Jay White, I like Jay White. It took me a while. You know, when he first came in, he just, you know, had the Sister Abigail basically force finisher and all that. And I was, you know,
right.
But as time went on and as he did more programs in New Japan and over here in America, he's definitely gonna do big things in Impact. He's somebody that they need, somebody they can thrive with. And I mean, just so many fresh matches, so much good is gonna come out of this. It's really hard to find anything bad to say.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, honestly, to me, Jay White is such use for Impact, because you're talking about he is a former New Japan Pro Wrestling World Champion and was a champion for a while, held multiple, or I believe he's currently a Grand champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like, he's huge. He's huge over there. And then coming over to Impact Wrestling, right now, Kenny Omega, he's the Impact Wrestling champion. And other than Moose, in my opinion, there was nobody else who I would believe could legitimately take that strap and Impact off of him. And now we got somebody like Jay White coming in. Now he's somebody I definitely see not only taking the strap off him, but will be a good face of Impact for a good minute. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. I see nothing but positive things coming from Jay White's debut. That's huge. And other than Jay White debuting, there's other, you know, WWE big faces that also made their return show kind of debuts. But to SmackDown, we have Finn Balor came back from NXT to SmackDown. We got Big Harv's favorite wrestler, John Cena, made his debut in the WWE, coming back after about a little bit over a year. Last time was at not last WrestleMania, but a WrestleMania before with Bray Wyatt. And then Goldberg made his return to challenge the almighty WWE champion Bobby Lashley for the belt at SummerSlam. Let's unpack this slowly. Okay, let's start off with Finn Balor. Okay, Finn Balor made his return. He's been running game in NXT and now he's on SmackDown. Harv, what do you think about him coming back to WWE from NXT?
Overdue, and I really hope that they actually give him a fair shake. He hasn't really gotten a fair shake since he got injured by Seth Rollins with that buckle to the outside and derailed his first ever Universal Championship special crap. They haven't treated him the same since then, and they honestly should have. WWE don't know how to stack people anymore. They don't know how to have multiple contenders and make them all look legit at the same time. They've lost that magic. I don't know how. But I'm just hoping that he gets his shot. He deserves a shot, another shot at the top. We know what he can do.
Man, it's hard for me though. I personally don't think Vince McMahon cares about NXT superstars. Personally, I mean, we'll talk about my opinion on Vince on NXT later on. But with Finn Balor coming back and being on SmackDown, you know, it's great. I'm happy to see him on the blue brand once again on a show where there's a lot of audience once again. But I don't think they're going to give him the opportunity. He's going to challenge Roman Reigns for the belt. Roman Reigns is going to destroy him. No offense, Roman Reigns is doing terrific as Universal Champion, but Finn Balor come back just to get destroyed. And maybe he'll get a mid-card title. I don't see him going for the Universal title and winning anytime soon. I can't have as much faith. I can't. It's just hard right now. So I would like to go hard, but it's hard.
No faith. Everything you said is legit. Ain't no faith there. I hope, because he is a very, very capable superstar. You know, he's great. Always has been. He's one of the ones that fan and kind of fell to the wayside, and they actually did try with him. It was just a bad time to get injured.
Yeah. Shoot, lost that belt just the first night.
Jeez, crazy.
Well, since we're talking about great superstars, what about Harv's favorite, the doctor of thugonomics, Mr. You Cannot See Me? John Cena made his return after Roman Reigns won at Money in the Bank. He has returned, looked at him dead in his face, said, "You cannot see me, Tribal Chief." And then he went on to Raw and dogged Roman Reigns. He went on to SmackDown and dogged Roman Reigns. And it looks like in the future, they're going to come battle against each other. So, Harv, what do you think about your favorite wrestler going against Roman Reigns eventually?
I've said it once. I'll say it one more time for everybody right now. I will never, and Big Harv means ever, damn about another John Cena match. Now, this actually makes Reigns' reign less appealing to me, because I don't want to see this match. I have in this case, I'm actually confident that WWE is going to do the right thing, and he's going to beat John Cena. Not as soundly as he needs to. They're going to make it look like, oh, he finally gets his challenge, and he's going to topple the challenge. That's really how I see the story going. That's how it should go. John Cena doesn't have time for WWE right now at all. He got like 3 movies coming out this year. You know what I'm saying? He got a comedy. He got the Suicide Squad, and it was another one I saw. But John Cena's he's doing the Dwayne thing. You know, he's transitioned. He's gonna pop up for a few special occasions. He doesn't have time for WWE full time. Definitely not to hold a world title. Mm-hmm. But man, I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little bit more optimistic optimistic with this match than Harv is. Not because of John Cena and his wrestling ability, but because of just the overall, the superstar feel that you're going to get from it. Now, I do want to specify, I'm not going to watch this match for the wrestling appeal, because what fans fail to realize, especially with, I'm a big Roman Reigns fan right now, especially with his reign, but his wrestling maneuvers is also limited, just like John Cena. Roman Reigns, he got the Superman punch, he got the, front drop kick on the outside, he got clothesline, Samoan drop, and spear. I may be missing like one or two, but that's pretty much his moves, and just a whole bunch of punches over and over. So we're not going to see this amazing wrestling match between the two. If anything, you're just going to see storytelling, which is what John Cena pretty much built his whole career off of, because he's only been doing the same 6 moves, okay? But go ahead. I know you're going to say something.
No, I'm with you. You got it. You got it.
So, no, I'm not going to look at this match as a wrestling match. I'm honestly going to look at this as a WWE product match. And that's honestly all I can get from it. Like I said, I love what Roman Reigns is doing. I honestly don't see him losing his belt anytime soon. He should not lose it anytime soon because he's doing well. It's just, I think it's going to be good where now that John Cena, everyone's happy. Hey, they didn't even chant John Cena sucks during his theme song when he returned. Like, that's how hyped people are that he returned. So I'm just looking forward to see John Cena come back, hella hype or whatever, and the tribal chief just bulldozed right over him. That's what I
chant John Cena sucks loud enough for everybody on the planet. I got it. Nobody needs to. I got it. Personally. Yeah.
Well, hopefully John Cena isn't the only individual that's been booed out the arena, because there's another superstar that returned that, in my opinion, should have got booed out the arena, and that is the infamous Goldberg. Okay, Goldberg has returned to Monday Night Raw to self-proclaim that he's next. He didn't say you're next. No, on Monday Night Raw, he said, I'm next to challenge the almighty Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. Harv, just tell me your thoughts on this before I say mine.
Why? Why?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, this is the most blatant. Goldberg is the most blatant, like, nostalgic kick they've ever done. He doesn't come in. He doesn't have to do anything. He shows up. I get a title match. Done. Like, why? You don't have to do anything to qualify. You don't have to beat anybody. Why? I was recently reading, and I rewatched the match he had with William Regal, and how much did William Regal, because what else was he supposed? Goldberg, you're trash. You're garbage. You've always been garbage. You hid behind those couple moves. 2 moves is what you had, sir. 2 moves, and maybe the gorilla press into the body slam. Maybe that. But you had 2 moves, man. 2 moves. You couldn't do anything outside of that ever in your career. And now you're old as dirt. And you're still in decent shape. So they keep throwing you out here because of your name. You can't do it. If there was anybody I cared less about than John Cena, I think we just found that guy. All right. I think that sums it all up. There we go.
Okay. My sentiments is no different. I read an article saying that there was actually one of 3 options for Bobby Lashley. One of which is, I believe most people would have been okay with, was Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Then, of course, another option was Goldberg. And the third option was Bray Wyatt, because he was a former WWE champion, Universal champion, and they haven't used him since his swerve ending whatever at WrestleMania recently. So now, Brock Lesnar obviously said, no, not now, maybe in the future, whatever, but obviously he's not going to face Bobby Lashley. Bray Wyatt, although it would have been sudden and out of nowhere, I think that would have built something a bit better. It's something more believable than Bobby Lashley. But the thing with Bobby is he's just been dominant. He has been a great WWE champion. He has been running over all of his opponents pretty much ever since he won the belt. He did have a few slip-ups with Xavier and Kofi, but, you know, he got back on track and he stayed the champion that he is. Now, you're going to build up this guy all the way up until SummerSlam, making him look prime and perfect for Brock Lesnar. Then all of a sudden, you hear doom, 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 doom. And all of a sudden, Goldberg, I mean, every time he does the kick now, he falls over to the side. Every time he comes out, it is terrible. It's painful to watch. Not just him against Bobby Lashley, but against any wrestler. I still cringe over the Goldberg versus Undertaker match till this day. It was at that moment where Undertaker should have went to Vince and say, "Do not put this man back in the ring." Yep. But no.
Yeah, let's get him to do another. Call up Bill. Bill doing. Bill's got another one for you.
I mean, come on. I get it. It's SummerSlam. It's the big show. You're trying to get all these big names. But if you want to do the complete opposite for your fans as remotely possible, then yeah, you go with Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley, because then it'll be perfectly opposite of what fans need. It's terrible.
Like, I mean, and Brock Lesnar and Lashley is like tailor-made. It wrote itself without Vince. Yeah. And I really, that's why he doesn't want to give us the match, because their careers paralleled in a really weird way. Mm-hmm. And both of their rises to the point where they are now to when they came back to WWE, the stars that they were when they came back were so much bigger than the stars that they were when they left. I feel like he might be salty about that. You know, like Lashley fought MMA and wrestled at the same time and was winning titles in both and defending both titles, like both. You know what I mean? That's incredible. Lashley went and dominated and only fell off because he literally almost died from his body eating itself and never recovered. You know, so Crazy. They both found their way back to WWE, and I feel like he's just like, who needs him? Yeah, it's really. I don't think we're ever gonna get that match. I feel like he's that stubborn. I really do.
Well, I'm not oblivious to how stubborn Vince is, especially we'll talk about later on. But yeah, this match should not happen. You know, I'm not hoping anything on anyone, but you know, if it just so happens that, you know, Goldberg turns his quad from coming out to the ring one more time, then that may be a blessing to all of us. You know, you just bring up a different wrestler. Anybody would probably be better at this point.
Man.
All right. Well, since obviously we've been covering Bobby Lashley, a brother who's been dominating the scene. There's another brother that's been dominating the scene in the WWE, a wrestler where we've honestly been talking very highly of. Harv even called the breakup eventually, and it still led to his singles career. Big E. Yeah, Big E went on to Money in the Bank and won it. And please, Harv, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Big E the first Black superstar to win Money in the Bank?
I believe so. Yep, I believe so.
So that's another huge accomplishment for Big E. So I remember we talked about on the show that once he won the Intercontinental Championship for the second time, WWE made some big, huge deal out of it. Like it was some huge accomplishment. He had he had the belt for a little bit. Then he lost it. And then in the middle of it, he was like used and not used. It was very up in the air and juggled with. But now all of a sudden he wins Money in the Bank. Question for you. Do you think this will help skyrocket his career into a main event scene, or will this eventually lead to a lackluster career again?
It should. And again, I hope that it does. But we've seen how many times WWE now has used the briefcase as a prop. Like they'll give it to somebody and then decide, nope, and just take it off of them for any reason. So that's the hard part about being a fan and about being as analytical as we are, because we see it all. You know, so the hope is hollow. Like, you have to will yourself to hope, because the writing on the wall says the exact opposite of what you want or what should happen. You know what I mean? So, Yeah, it should. It should lead to a breakout, career-defining moment for Big E. But it's 50-50 right now. It's 50-50.
It is extremely 50-50 because if anyone paid attention to Big E's career since he broke up, it's literally like a roller coaster. When he was with New Day, they were just right here in the middle. Then they broke away, gave him his theme music. He was like a straight up single star. Then he went up. Then all of a sudden, they just stopped using him. So then he went down. Then he won the Intercontinental title. Great. And then he lost it. Okay, and great, and nothing really happened. But now he won Money in the Bank. Great. It's literally just like a chart, like a
yeah, it is.
Yeah. So if we were to pay attention to the pattern, eventually he's either going to cash it in and lose, or someone going to take that briefcase off. One of those two things going to happen. But like I'm with Harv, I would hope that he will go in, take the briefcase, and I don't really care who he takes out, Roman Reigns or whatever. Just give him the shot, give him the belt, and let him dominate reign. Show people what he is. But yeah, we can only hope.
Yes, sir. That's about it. So,
other than Big E winning Money in the Bank, there's another individual that won Money in the Bank, and that's Nikki. Nikki. Okay, well, hold on. Almost a superhero. Nikki, almost a superhero. Anyway, okay, so Nikki Cross been with the organization for a while now. And I could be wrong, maybe around 4 or 5 years already. She's been there from NXT and then Raw, SmackDown, Lex Bliss or whatever. She's been with the organization for a while. And then she had the tag team title, but it was with Alexa Bliss. It was with Alexa Bliss. But within 1 month of her newly given superhero gimmick, she won the women's championship. Just 1 month. She has clearly showed that she could do well as a singles competitor in her prior character, but she was never given a chance by herself. But ironically, when she does the most WWE-like gimmick, they throw a belt. Harv, what is your opinion?
That's the most 80s to the Hurricane and Rosie and Stacy Keibler. Like, dude, what era are we in right now? And the name's not even creative.
It's not.
Who they hire for creative? There's nothing good about that name. Nikki almost.
Nikki Ash in short. No, wait, I'm sorry. They don't even say Ash. They call it ASH.
ASH. That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
And superhero in training was creative. They put it on, spelled it out for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't get it. And it's not that Nikki Cross doesn't deserve a title run. Not this way. Not with this gimmick. Like, this is terrible. This is absolutely garbage. That one left me. It threw me for a loop. I'm at a loss on that one. I have no idea. That's completely ridiculous.
I obviously have no words with it. I remember me and my wife was watching Monday Night Raw when she debuted the gimmick. She was in the gorilla position and they had the camera on her. And we were sitting there like, okay, well, I like the inspirational speech. I don't know what's this on your face, but I like the speech, that you're doing. Then they panned out and she had this gold and blue, looked like a high school mascot uniform. And then she went out, superhero music and all. I'm like, what in the hell are we looking at here? This terrible. And then she's on social, and I don't know, it could be true, it could be false, I don't know. But now she's going on social media saying this was something that she always had planned, something that she would always do. And she does have some shades of it on the independent scene, but nothing like this. Nothing like this. It's the most WWE thing that I've ever seen. And it's bothersome to see that she does something that's completely different from what she done, and now she gets a belt. It makes sense WWE wise, but as a wrestling fan, it makes no sense.
It's the most sense WWE has ever made, and it still doesn't make sense. And if it is something that she always wanted to do, kudos. I'm happy for you. That's what it's about, living the dream.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it.
It's hard to buy in.
Yeah. Sorry.
But one thing that is easy to buy in is the return of Keith Lee. Keith Lee made his amazing return on Monday Night Raw with theme music that actually fits him, came into the ring and faced off against Bobby Lashley in a return match we've all been waiting for, and he ended up losing clean, which then pushed him out the ring and insert Oldberg. But we're not going to get back into that one. I want to talk about Keith Lee. We've been talking on the show about how Keith hasn't been used. So now that Keith Lee is back, Harv, I want to know how you feel about Keith Lee return. What should we look forward to?
This seems to be the theme of the episode, man. Who knows? We thought we knew the first time. All right, like you said, he's been the topic of plenty of discussions on this show. To how they brought him out the first time and butchered his entire look and his sound with the theme song, and then they were supposedly sending him back to the center, and it didn't look like it was happening. And he did disappear, and now he's back. I don't know. I wish I did, but we have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah,
like we thought he might have popped up on the fired list. He was topic there too. He's out there. Who knows? Because they don't seem to know what to do with the guy.
It's true.
I'm hoping again. Hope. All I got. That's all I got. Hope. Size of a mustard seed. Ain't that what it say? That's all I got. I ain't got no more. That's it. I hope that they are gonna do this dude right and actually. I ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna hope. I hope. Yeah. I hope.
Well, once again, it's hard for me to hope. The reason why it's hard for me to hope is because he came back. He came back with the crowd. Came back with the crowd, and he lost clean to Bobby Lashley. Now, don't get me wrong. Well, I said this earlier. Bobby Lashley is doing a tremendous job as WWE champion. He's dominating the way that he's supposed to. But you bring back a wrestler who's made a tremendous name in NXT, who made a name for him in the WWE when he came over. Y'all changed everything about him, but he tried his best to make it work. And he lost clean, and y'all literally pushed him out the ring as if the match never happened, or he was just another opponent to come. It's hard to come back from that. You don't go back to a main event scene after that. You go to mint cards. You go to another wrestler who hasn't really been doing much, and you fight off with them, which inevitably ends up with them wrestling on main event with my guy Ricochet. It's terrible to discuss, but that's been the writing on the wall, and it's hard to argue. I would love for Keith Lee to get his opportunity. He has the mic skills. He has the in-ring ability. Now he got the theme music. He got what you want.
On his own. On his own. He even got to work for it. It's easy money.
Yeah.
I don't know. If rap. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of hope on this episode. But the last topic is going to involve a different type of hope. A hope of what we would like from an NXT guy to come over to the WWE and how they're treated. But this one is actually kind of interesting. For those of you all who may not have caught it, current reigning, defending, and formerly undefeated NXT World Champion, Karrion Kross. He made his debut on Monday Night Raw, and he lost to the charismatic enigma Jeff Hardy in a few minutes. Look, I'm not going to go into too much detail. Harv, I just want you to start before I go on mine.
Jeff Hardy, at his age and with the fatigue and the deterioration on his body, should be in the business of putting stars over. He's popular as he's ever going to be. He's never going to be what he once was. All he needs to do is go out there and make somebody look good, get pinned, get paid, go home. That should be it for him. He should not be beating undefeated, debuting superstars. Now, I will also be one to say, back when Karrion Kross was getting popular, I didn't buy. I still really don't buy into the hype. He's another generic big dude to me. Like I don't see why he was the champ. I don't see why he was undefeated. He never really had that aura to me.
Right.
But I can still, I know when something isn't done right. It's just like they something that wasn't done right. That wasn't done right.
No.
exactly how they did with Oscar. Oscar was undefeated, came up against Charlotte, lost. Charlotte was at least main event and has plenty of main events ahead of her. Jeff Hardy does not, unless it is in a multi-man match, multi-man tag, type thing. He's not a one-on-one main event world title caliber superstar anymore. He's just not. Hasn't been for 5 years now. So that was a mistake. What are you doing? I don't know. I'm lost. I don't know. Poorly done.
So to start off, Harv, I agree with you 1,000%. Let's just start there. Secondly, for those of us who follows KTR on Twitter, I have been an advocate to say that me personally, I don't see what's special with Karrion Kross. Me personally, I just do not see, as Harv already said, to me, he just seemed like this big guy who can just come in and just be down. That's my opinion. But, when you put him in these multi-matches with Pete Dunne, with Johnny Gargano, with Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, for the strap, for the NXT World title, and he's only in the match physically maybe a cumulative of 4 minutes, okay, and he wins. It makes no sense because all he does is come in, do a clothesline, and leaves, okay? He's just a big guy. But that, at this point, is not the issue. The issue is they brought up the NXT World Champion who was undefeated, okay? Undefeated. Came up, first off, they completely screwed over his entrance, okay? That was probably one of the most lackluster debut entrances I have ever seen, and at least in modern day WWE. He came down to the ring all slow. His girl wasn't with him. His smoke wasn't with him, nothing. Then he came down to the ring. Then in the minute, he stood in the ring. He did the whatever. No lights were flashing or nothing. And then he did the thumbing. There was no beat. The crowd was just completely flustered the entire time. It was so bad.
They treated that like a jobber.
Terrible. Like, this is the NXT World Champion. He coming out like he always loses. That's how he comes out. He came out like how Ascension used to come out. It was bad. Then, to add insult to injury, Jeff Hardy not only came out, but they gave him his old theme music, knowing good and well the crowd was going to get a big pop off that. Come down to the ring, and I think they said 3-4 minutes, something like that. Roll a pin, Jeff Hardy's hands is up, match is over. That was literally it. That was literally it. They had the nerve to interview Karrion Kross afterwards.
What are you going for? I don't get what the goal is. What's the end game?
So 2 things here. Number one, I said it earlier in the show, Vince McMahon does not care about NXT. I think that was his way to remind them that, hey, cool, I don't care. At the end of the day, I can take your best guy and make them lose to somebody who's barely here. Okay. The second thing with that is, and like I said earlier, I don't see anything in Karrion Kross. Harv, you said it yourself, there's not that much hype in Kross, and I honestly don't see him having a lasting career in WWE. I don't think they will honestly use him, and in my opinion, there's not much to really use. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. What matters is this is the NXT World Champion you have here, and you literally made him a jobber in one night. Terrible decision. Got anything else you want?
Nah, man, I don't understand. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
As a fan, as an analyst, I don't know what I'm looking at right now. Like, the trends are all over the place. That makes sense.
The only thing that I learned from this is that Vince McMahon does not care about NXT.
That's a fact, Jack. Take that thing.
Just a terrible, bad decision. But you know what's not a bad decision is all of our fans listening to this episode. We want to thank you all for listening to tonight's episode of Season 2, Episode 4. Please make sure to tell all your friends, tell all your families, tell all your loved ones, tell all your girlfriends, your boyfriends, or whichever way you go. We don't care. We want you to tell everybody to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at KTR Know the Rose Podcast. Listen to us. You're probably listening to us right now on Apple Music. You might be listening to us now on Spotify. You might be listening to us now on Anchor. You might be watching us on YouTube. We don't care. listen to us, subscribe, follow, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Also, buy our merch. Please make sure to buy our merch at prowrestlingtees.com/knowtheropes podcast. Again, that is prowrestlingtees.com/knowtheropes podcast. This is season 2, episode 4. Big Harv, J-Bo, no Cinko, and we are out. What should they do, Big Harv?
Buy a shirt. Buy 2 shirts. Pump those numbers.
I'm proud of y'all niggas. Look at them. They did the show without me. Good job.
Yeah. Numbers, letters, all symbols of man-made devices that could cripple us all. Improve we can K. Panicking when storm hits and knocks out the power grid. Are you fully prepared to live off the grid? How you think?